As a dog trainer, people often come to me with various requests. Can you teach my dog to stop barking? Can you stop my dog from jumping? Can you teach him to walk nicely on the leash? But sometimes I get the odd request. A lady once called me and she said, can you teach my dog to push my mother-in-law off the balcony? And she stayed on the 21st floor. Then there was this rich socialite, and she called me because she had this water loving Labrador, and she wanted to take her dog every time from the boat to jump off onto a floating jetty. You see, this rich dog would spend every weekend at a beachside resort. So I said, okay, you've done this before? She said, yes. Has the dog fallen into the sea? No. So what would happen if the dog fell in? He'd swim back onto the jetty. So I said, what's the problem? She said, no, we have to train. So we booked a pool. We bought floating blocks. Needless to say, it started off as a complete disaster. See, the dog just kept jumping in the pool and swimming. After 2 hours, we were all wet. And then she's telling me, you know what, forget this. This has failed. I'm just going to buy a helicopter and take the dog there by helicopter. So every weekend now, this dog goes to a weekend resort by helicopter. In my 26 years that I've worked with dogs, there's never been a dull moment. Dogs are great fun to work with. But people sometimes come up with some weird comments. I've had a woman who once told me, she said, my dog stares at me when I have a bath. Then there was another lady who said, when my neighbor comes, my dog howls. Do you think she's a witch? And then I had another person who said, I think my dog is ready to get married. Can you help find a bride for my dog? You know, people often ask me this question. Do dogs have a sixth sense that human beings don't have? Yes, they do. And it's called common sense. In the years when I started working with dogs, I often found that I thought I was teaching dogs, right? I'm changing their lives, I'm helping people, helping dogs. And it took me a while to realize that they had a lot to teach me. There were a lot of life lessons I was learning from dogs. My little Muffin came to me when he was about 6 months old. He had bitten a 5-year-old girl on her face really badly. This dog was labeled aggressive, hopeless. Some people even said put him to sleep because he's never going to change. But that's the thing. You see, dogs don't take their labels very seriously. So Muffin decided he will change. He could change. He taught me that change is possible. It's never too late to change. And you should never let your past dictate what your future is. Muffin grew into one of the most loving dogs possible. If he met you, he'd ask you for a cuddle. 1 year later, this is him with my daughter. A year ago, nobody would have thought this dog could go near children safely. But he changed. My current dog, Maya, she came to me as a rescue dog. And with most rescue dogs, what do we say, right? You have all the reasons to be fearful, aggressive, you should dislike people because you've had such a poor start in life. But Maya's very much like me. She's a bit stubborn. And she said, I'm not going to be bothered with this. I choose my own path. And it took me a while to realize that what appeared to be an ordinary dog was actually a dog with extraordinary skills. You see, Maya has this ability to seek out people who are feeling low and she'll comfort them. So when I run my courses, Maya will come up and say hi to everyone. And then she would take her toy and go and sit near 1 or 2 people. And later I'd ask those people, are you okay? Are you having a bad day? And they'd say, I am having a bad day. How do you know? I said, well, Maya told me. And she'd sit with them. So if she was here with you all, she'd run and say hi to everyone. And then I would see her eventually just sitting with 1 or 2 of you. And I would write it down and give it to you. You'd be the one who's not having such a great day. A couple of years ago, the parents of a young boy called me up. The boy had been attacked by a large dog. And he had nightmares. He couldn't concentrate in school. If he walked on the road, he'd keep looking over his shoulder. He was having a really bad time. So they said, can we meet you? Maybe you can help. When the family walked in, the boy refused to have anything to do with the dog. It took about half an hour for him to agree to even meet the dog. And when I opened the door, she ran out and she said hello to everybody. And in that family who had come, there were at least two people who were petrified. She didn't stop there. She took her little toy and went straight to this boy. And I was just watching her. It's just, how do you know? I've never taught you this. She took that toy and put it on his lap. And he looked at her, he looked at the toy, then he gently picked it and threw it for her. And that broke the ice. For half an hour, they just kept playing fetch. And then she sat with her head on his lap while he spoke to her. And he comforted her. Not that he needed to, but he talked to her. And she took away, even if it was for those brief 5 minutes, she took away his problems. And when they left, the boy went with a smile, and the mother went with tears in her eyes. And that is the power of dogs. Dogs can heal us. Dogs help us connect with ourselves. Sometimes they help us hold a mirror up to ourselves. They teach us so much. They teach us humility. They teach us resilience. And they teach us, more importantly than anything else, about humanity. And talking about resilience, we all know corporate India is struggling with burnout issues. Recent studies have shown that Indian employees are struggling with concerns such as loss of jobs, managing finances, balancing work-life balance, career growth opportunities. And a recent global study showed this, that teaching people the art of resilience can actually help them manage work-life balance better. Now, for decades, we've known the power of dogs to heal people with mental health issues. And in 1996, I started working with therapy dogs. And I've watched these dogs work their magic on people. So in 2008, I started a company which does canine training for corporates. And through this training, so what is it? It's just dog training. Through this, people learn life skills. They learn how to manage stress. They learn how to communicate better. They learn how to work with teams, learn empathy. There's so much you can learn from dog training. So a leading company CEO once called and he said, listen, the many divisions in my company don't get along and that is hurting company profits. So I said, great, we'll do a canine training workshop, right? The first minute when everyone walked in, you can see their faces. There were shouts. And the first 10 minutes, there was complete chaos. Some people said, hey, dogs, I don't like dogs. Then someone said, I have a phobia. I won't be doing this. Then someone else said, how is a dog going to help me learn anything? So complete chaos in 10 minutes that there was. I just said, wait, let the dogs have a chance. In half an hour, there was only one person left with a fear of dogs. See, I didn't do much. It's the dogs. They make you smile. They make you laugh. 3 hours later. Everybody was playing with dogs and chatting. And at the end of the day, what did the dogs teach them to do? One, how to conquer your fears. You had to conquer your fears. The dog just said, hey, I'm not going to kill you. Come on. Deal with it. They learned to work in teams. They spoke with each other, people they hadn't spoken to in years, though working in the same office. They learned to have empathy for each other, empathy for the dog. And they learned a lot of skills. Now, I know most of you sitting here are going to say, what rubbish. Who's going to learn all this from dog training? So to prove my point, I have a very special guest here today who's going to help me teach you what we can learn from dog training. And we have Fluffy here. Fluffy is a young dog. And we don't have much time to do full training sessions here. So we're just going to use Fluffy to teach you a few simple things about life. Oh, and say hello. Here. Come here, Fluffy. Look what I've got. Rule number 1, when you start working with anyone, here, look what I've got. Good girl. Or she wants a handler more. Right. Establish a reward. How many of you establish a reward before you work with anyone? Whether it is with your child, an employee, or even a dog. So you have to have a reward that the dog desires or the person. Here, look what I've got. Shh, come on. Also remember in life, plan A inevitably always fails. You should know that. So there comes plan B, treats. Life will throw curveballs at you. Plan A is going to fail. Let's try plan B. Here you go. Here we go. See why you have a plan B in place. Dog training teaches us that. So here's all I'm going to do. Come here. Right. So, and plan C would be what to do when the dog doesn't want to stay with you. Right? So we'd get Vinod to come back on stage so that she is more comfortable. It's as easy as that. See how dogs teach us to pivot. You can't be stuck to where you are. The dog forces you to pivot, or the dog says, forget it, I'm not doing any work for you. This is it. So we'd have Vinod hold the dog. She's more comfortable with him. There we go. This is a dog I just met yesterday. Right. Now, Fluffy does know basic commands, but I'm going to teach her something simple. Right? Fluffy, what have I got? Look. Here. Look what I've got. Sit. Here, come. Sit. Right. Don't play with the tags. Here, come on. Good girlie. Good girlie. Good girl. There. Yeah. Sit. Sit. I'm going to teach her one of the most important life-saving skills we teach dogs. Right? If she's coming running to me, I want to teach her to stop midway. Good girl. Now she's warming up. Sit. Good girl. Right? And I'm going to call her. And as she's coming to me, I'm going to get her to stop midway. We're going to see if she do it. Fluffy. Here. Sit. Sit. Wait there. Wait there. Fluffy, come. Come. Here. Wait. Good girlie. There you go. Right. Another thing dogs teach you. You have to be very emotive with your life. When we communicate, whether with our dogs or with each other, 93% is the unspoken word. So if I went to her and said, Fluffy, wait, she wouldn't listen, which forces me to change who I am. And in these 2 minutes, you're going to learn so much just from watching her. Fluffy, here, look, come on. Ready? Sit. Sit. And wait. There, good girl. Ready? Fluffy, come. Wait. Good girl. Here you go. Catch it. Good girl. Good girl. Also, dog training teaches us about the power of rewards. They must be instantaneous for the dog to make that connect. All right? Let's give it a go. Remember plan B? Always in the back pocket. Here, Fluffy. Look what I've got, baby. Sit. Good. And wait there. Wait there. Ready? Let's give it a try and see if she's learned. Fluffy, come. Here. Come. Come. And wait. Good girl. There you go. Good girlie. In 2 minutes, Fluffy has taught us so much about dogs, hasn't she? It's amazing. And we'll do one last rep. Fluffy. Wait, that's it. I know. Good girl. Ready? Come. Come on. Here you go. Shh. Wait. Good girlie. There you go. In just 2 minutes, she teaches me, if I want results, how to communicate with her better, how to come out of my comfort zone, how to use the correct rewards, how to have backup plans. Don't you think these lessons can help us with life as well? Thank you, Fluffy. So we give a round of applause to Fluffy for this. When I first started working in 1995, that's me then, the methods of training used at that time were all about choke chains and harsh methods. My methods were reward-based. And when I started teaching people this, I started courses for people because they'd say, I want to do this as well. When I first started the courses, everybody laughed at me. They said, it's not going to work. Don't encourage people to do this silly profession of dog training. How can anyone make a living out of it? You'll fail at what you're doing. But you know, I just believed in it. And I said, no, I'm going to do it. So the first course ran with 2 people, and the laughter grew louder. And I said, no, I'm going to do it. 2 people, I'll do it. 20 years later, and 1,200 students later, the laughter has stopped. Because I fought for what I believed in. My students are lawyers, bankers, doctors, dentists, housewives, college students. They're all people who say, I'm doing something with my life, but I don't feel fulfilled. I want to do now something that gives me that passion to wake up every day. And when I look around, in 20 years, the way we've trained dogs in this country has changed. There's compassion, there's kindness, there's fun. It's fun working with dogs. That's all it is. You saw that here. How many of you smiled when you saw Fluffy come on stage? How many of you smiled when you saw her working? Dogs release endorphins in us. It's our feel-good factor. And that changed the whole situation. And along with that, my students come back and tell me dog training has transformed their lives. The very lessons they use when working dogs has changed the way they live their lives. And that is something you need to take away. See, one thing I've always believed in, live life on your terms. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. If you have a dream, go follow it through. You never want to look back when you're older and say, oh God, I should have tried that. Remember, tomorrow is promised to no one. So go chase that dream of yours today. From Fluffy and May, a big thank you to all of you.